Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is part 3 of What If Deku Was Homelander. And as always, if you enjoy, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. This series is gonna be a little bit different, as you're gonna be able to tell by this this part. But I hope you guys still enjoy it nonetheless. And I don't want to waste much more of your time because I want to get right into the what if. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya is about to head off to his quote-unquote training camp. Now, this training camp is more or less going to be designed around the idea of helping Izuku understand how to properly utilize his strength. But his ideals, his ideas, and everything that is surrounding him has been built into him since he was practically born. We know that he's been raised by scientists, but he's also been raised by PR people that have a lot to do with, a lot of these people have a lot to do with the idea of taking down villains at all costs, but also you want to make the best headlines you possibly can. And right now, Izuku is making headlines along the lines of superhero and along the lines of villain as well, but still both publicity and both extremely good for Izuku himself. He has a what seems to be like a cult following that is currently building up, people believing that his way is actually the proper way to execute villains. Now, it's not like he's just running around killing villains willy-nilly. He's actually thinking about this thing. You know what I mean? So he's actually utilizing his powers to eliminate villains that are threatening people that are of high caliber, right? He's actually doing things to protect others, so it's not like he's killing out of just, fun and whatever. He's actually killing to make sure that things are going to stay the same or stay heroic for the most part. Now, right now, he has to deal with the Forest Training Camp, which is a lot of learning from his quote-unquote mistakes, which he doesn't really think are mistakes. Now, he does play along for a little bit. He does some physical training on top of that, but his physical training is always kind of lackluster to a large extent. But then on top of that, he now basically is getting ready for his next jump into his hero journey, which would be leading into getting his provisional hero license and stuff like that. But of course, there are some hurdles that have to come through pretty quickly, and the first one is actually the League of Villains sieging and actually invading the Forest Training Camp. The League of Villains would invade the Forest Training Camp, and everybody would act on their own accord to try and defend themselves. Izuku Midoriya, on the other hand, would fly around looking for a villain to fight and a villain to eliminate. And eventually he would come across a villain by the name of Muscular, who is actually threatening a child by the name of Koda. And he would come spiraling down in a full speed fleet of damage, landing a crucial blow and basically knocking out Muscular almost instantly. But immediately, if Muscular tries to get up, or when he tries to get up, he would get knocked right back down and lasered through the chest. Now, this wouldn't penetrate his skin fully because Izuku was holding back a little bit, but the damage was dealt. And Muscular is extremely damaged from this attack. Now that Koda is safe, he picks up Koda and flies off to bring him to full-on safety, where the other villains are, or the other heroes are, excuse me. And then he flies off to take on the rest of the villains. And he continues to mow down and defeat and or eliminate some of these villains that he's flying across or just coming across in general. And he continues to just easily barrage these villains and continues to put on an absolute clinic. But this whole invasion, for the most part, is actually just a minor distraction. Because this minor distraction would be to actually capture one Bakugo. And when they capture Bakugo, it seems as if they have full intentions to either bait out Izuku or at least try to convert Bakugo into becoming one of the members of the League of Villains. Now, this was a interesting plan, and Izuku obviously has his own intentions on saving Bakugo, but it's for a totally different reason. When they would all head back home, they all head to the hospitals and stuff like that, Izuku is completely fine. He's not hurt, he's not anything. But a lot of people, a lot of the teachers, are trying to keep him in the same place. But soon he would be able to kind of slip away and go talk to some people. And those people, his PR, quote unquote people, are telling him that the best course of action is for him to find the person, find the League of Villains, save Bakugo. That's going to be insane publicity, and it's going to make him look amazing. And then on top of that, what he should do is defeat the League of Villains right then and there. But of course, that might be a lot of pressure to do so, and they might need them later on. But just put it this way. Ideally, you save Bakugo, you look like an absolute hero, and you've already leveled up compared to everyone else. And that's the main goal right then and there. And Izuku asks if there's any other circumstances that he should be worrying about. But of course, they say, no, nothing we can really think of at the moment. But they would be so wrong about this idea, because he should have been worrying about something, well, very, very important. And, well, it all starts with this. Izuku Midoriya goes and hunts down using a GPS to find Katsuki Bakugo. And now, that's an easy thing to do, and an easy little quest for him. And he's able to find the location of Bakugo relatively simply enough. And when he finds the location, he would swoop in and he would just blast his way through the entire League of Villains base, mowing through it, defeating and knocking out the majority of the villains there. People like Dabi, people like Toga and stuff like that, or anybody that is currently there would be easily defeated. And Shigaraki would kind of be the last person to be, or not alive, but the last person to be hanging on. The last person that would be not defeated. But Izuku follows the plan as he takes Bakugo and heads out and carries him away and allows him to fly next to him as they basically try to escape. Now, after they somewhat escape, Izuku would tell Bakugo that he make sure to put in a good word on the idea of him being saved pretty cleanly. And Bakugo kind of scoffs at this for the moment, until out of nowhere a portal would open up and would take both of them right back to where they started. But there's another person waiting for them. That's being All For One. All For One stands there completely still, as if he's just understands the overwhelming presence that he holds. But Izuku does not fear this man. And on top of that, of course, with Bakugo there too, Bakugo would not fear him either. But that's because Bakugo is brash and a little bit psychotic. But Izuku would not fear him at all, believing that this was a happy little accident, because now he gets the chance to take down one of the most absolutely treacherous villains ever in the world, maybe, or in Japan, but also probably even the world. Now, this would lead him to obviously taking on All For One with both Bakugo and himself. And on top of that, he would await the arrival of somebody like, well, All Might. And once All Might would arrive, while Izuku is flying around and trying to basically fight against All For One, when All Might would arrive, this would turn the tables almost instantly. Yes, we don't get to see if, well, Izuku could truly take All For One down by himself, but with the help of All Might, this fight is an easy one, and it leads to All Might actually not being severely injured ever or at all, or have to waste a ton of his strength, because with a combination of Izuku and All Might, really the number one hero in the future of the hero world, it seems as if they're able to punch All Might with a combined, well, United States of Smash, and defeat All For One in a matter of one foul swoop. And luckily enough, everybody is cheering. People are watching, and everybody is freaking out, saying that this kid, this person who was deemed a hero named Homelander, is truly going to be the next number one hero, is truly going to be the next big thing. And that's exactly what they wanted. That's exactly what every last person wanted. But here's the thing. There's been a lot of whispers, a lot of conversation, and a lot of people talking. And all this publicity, let's just say has risen him through the ranks, or at least has put him on a pedestal that many people believe that he should be out there being a hero already, and that he's ready right now. I mean, at the end of the day, he just helped defeat one of the strongest villains in the world. So a lot of people, they're thinking that he's worthy of that slot and worthy of that spot. And with all the murmurs, with all the talking, and with everything going on, let's just say people in the background of the picture are talking to somebody else. Because when Izuku's just at school, getting minor punishment because, he probably shouldn't have done that. It's probably pretty crazy of him to do that. But as he's doing these things, he would get approached by what seems to be an agent, and that agent would speak to him, saying that he has a place. He has a place to being a hero right now. And he asks, well, what agency? Like where? Like what agency are we talking about? Where could we be talking about? Where in Japan? Like, is it somewhere far away or what? In which he would bring up that it's actually in the United States, in which he would think is absolutely insane. What United is that? Was that the whole plan this entire time? Get me enough publicity and then move me out to the States or the United States of America? And in which they would say, well, not necessarily, but it actually worked perfectly. And the publicity would be even greater if he went out to the States. Yes, if he went to the USA, it would be even greater, the publicity that he could gain. In which he would ask why, and it's because of one person that offered him a spot in her agency, Star and Stripe, in which this would shock Izuku. And frankly, a lot of the people that are part of his PR, part of his agency and stuff like that are helping him are shocked as well. I mean, they don't even know how she got a hold of a lot of this information, but she wants to offer him a slot, and he could basically just, fulfill his high school requirements out there, which will be extremely easy for him, getting his somewhat like a GED of some sorts. In which he would think to himself, should he accept this or should he just stick to Japan? But he believes that, and a lot of others believe that he can always come back to Japan eventually. But for now, it might be a good idea for him to go off and actually go to USA and join one of the biggest agencies ever. Like, that is a big thing that needs to happen, and a big thing that everyone here believes should happen. So that's exactly what Izuku is going to do. Go and basically work with one of the biggest agencies ever, or at least biggest agencies ever involving the USA, or involving USA. Now, this would be a decision for Izuku, and a pretty big one, but luckily enough, he has some people, quote unquote, to advise him, and this is the decision that they should make. And it would be a pretty quick process, frankly. Like, Izuku would kind of get his things settled, get his his affairs in check, and then he would leave. And it's that simple. He would leave to USA, and during this time he would start learning how to speak English and stuff like that. But since the scientists and stuff like that had such horrible Japanese, and it was kind of like whatever, and he would even hear them speak English from time to time. It's kind of like ingrained in his brain from to an extent. He's heard a good little bit of English. It won't be too difficult of a period of time, and it seems as if his powers, or whatever he has within his body, actually allows him to adjust a little bit quicker. Maybe not like insanely quicker, but a little bit quicker. And during this time, during a flight, and also during the first couple of days of being in the States, he would kind of take these remedial English courses to allow him to just speak pretty clearly in front of people and stuff like that. All the good stuff that he'll need at least during this job. And eventually it would be time for him to meet everybody in his agency, and this is where he would meet some new people, some new faces. Of course, all he would really care about, in all honesty, is speaking with Star and Stripe. But he would meet a couple of people, introduce himself as Izuku Midoriya, other known as Homelander, and he would talk to them a little bit and stuff like that. But eventually, he would talk to the big boss, being that of Star and Stripe, and they would speak about what he's going to do, what he's capable of, and she just wants him to be a symbol, a symbol of of this country and of these people, and on top of that, wants him to be ready and willing to take down some of these villains and stuff like that. But they are kind of iffy about their whole or his whole killing policy, and she just wants him to be a little bit careful. And Izuku agrees and thinks that it doesn't matter too much, but at the end of the day, he'll listen. He'll listen for now. And he goes on a couple missions, and these missions would be pretty basic ones. I mean, nothing crazy. Some just involving just small rescue, defeating a couple minor villains. But from what it seems like, is that the United States is not insanely populated with villains. Seems like Star and Stripe herself has dealt with a mass majority of these villains, and on top of that, he kind of just is in the sector of just a little bit of rescue, maybe crisis, and also if a really something important does occur, then he'll help out where he can along those lines. This would lead to a bit of an interesting thing happening, being that there's some nearby areas that are needed to be protected, and also one that is actually pretty far out, and this place is known as Hawaii. And he actually heads out to Hawaii, and it seems as if nobody really goes out there. Superheroes alike, or heroes in general, don't really go out there very often, but it seems like they do actually need quite a bit of assistance, at least to an extent. And it's nothing crazy, but he does help out with taking out some villains. And on top of that, he does deal with a villain that is pretty damn scary. And this villain, well, let's just say he involves a lot of magma and a lot of just crackling fire-like powers. And a lot of people have been dealing with this for a while. They all thought initially that it was just maybe like volcano, dealing with like a volcano, like the volcanoes, or small eruptions that they couldn't really explain. But this was definitely not that. This was all made by this one person. And he had these magma-like powers. These magma-like powers have become an issue, but were also part of the reason why they have land in Hawaii. But at the same time, they are dealing with some very, 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 very bad things now, being that he wants to basically destroy the cities that are currently there. And Izuku, well, he stands tall, ready to face him with cameras literally everywhere. And frankly, this is going to be the perfect time for Izuku to show what he truly is, or what he's trying to at least reveal what he is, and that he stands tall in the face of danger, and he begins going blow for blow with a person that is made of full-on magma and obsidian. And it seems like he's extremely durable, but Izuku chips at him over and over and over again. And as he protects these towns and protects these villages from getting burned to the ground, he shows off insane strength and eventually takes the being and he beats down and throws him directly into the water, creating a small little tiny island, like a very, very small little landmass, and eventually would knock him out and would secure him with some quirk canceling cuffs, and everybody would cheer. They would all begin to chant his name, but chant his hero name, Homelander. And the news and many other sources would begin talking. Did Japan make a mistake? They just got rid of what looks to be the next great hero. And it seems as if they lost him because of disputes, because he wanted to be a hero too fast. It seems like Japan has lost a good one, and it seems as if they're going to regret that in the future. But for now, the United States has another solid and amazing hero right next to the Lady Star and Stripe. Izuku Midoriya, or Homelander, and Star and Stripe are the next big things in the United States, in which everybody would believe this to be absolutely true. And they begin to do press tours and other things like that to basically show off what they are and what United States is truly going to be. And on top of that, making it so that crime drops drastically. Crime drops almost to the ground. Like, it is almost completely gone. And everything is going what seems to be extremely well in the United States, but then word would come from Japan months and months and months later of something terrifying. Something that it seems like people have been keeping tabs on, but Izuku had no idea of, and that is Shigaraki gaining an overwhelming sense of power. And on top of that, well, it seems as if, well, everything is going bad in Japan. It seems that Shigaraki, the League of Villains, and many other things have been basically needing to be taken care of. And let's just say not many people are alive for it, but it seems as if everyone else, except for Shigaraki, is under capture, and Shigaraki is the last one standing. But this is no normal Shigaraki. This is a monstrous being, a terrifying being, someone that could even take down the likes of Star and Stripe and Izuku Midoriya. But with them together, well, there might be a chance, because let's just say Izuku may not be liking the idea of heading over to Japan, because they have to deal about their own worries. But it also seems like Star and Stripe is committed to the idea of helping her lost or her long lost mentor, or her mentor that she sees as her mentor, as being that of the symbol of peace, All Might. So she decides to fly off with jets and helicopters and all the above, to take on this Shigaraki, and she wants, well, Izuku Midoriya or Homelander to join her as well, in which Izuku would nod and eventually agree, thinking that this would be a good time to then set off, take down this final villain, and then basically cement himself as the true #1 hero, not of just Japan, but also of the United States. A smirk would go over Izuku's face as they fly off, and it seems like has something in mind that many others would not think of, and many others would not believe he would even do. But now it's time for the battle between Star and Stripe, or the battle between Shigaraki versus Star and Stripe and Homelander or Izuku Midoriya. Now, who will win in this battle? This battle to basically save Japan and the entire world. This battle that will either cement Izuku as basically the #1 hero in the entire world, or cement him as someone who was just so close or on the cusp of being one of the greater heroes, but fell at a young age. Well, you'll have to find out what happens in the next part and the final part of What If Deku Was Homelander. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. And I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I hope all of you have an amazing day. Later.